Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. I'm back out on the trails with my co-host puppies, my 4 little rescue dogs, Minnie, Penny, Millie, and Ollie and Summer. So we're all out here enjoying these nice trails over at the Whitewater Center today. So I thought I would make a video talking about hostels and huts and how all of that works on the Appalachian Trail. So along the trail there are a bunch of different places that you can stay called hostels, and some of them are really cool, and I highly recommend you staying at a bunch of them if you can. If you can get the Guthook app, they will list where they are, how much they cost, how to get a ride to them if you can't get there on foot. A lot of them are right off the trail, so it's not too hard to get to, but there are a few that you can't quite hike to, so you need to get a shuttle or ride. It's all explained in the Guthook app when you check that out. But hostels, I had never stayed in a hostel until I had hiked the Appalachian Trail, and I really found them a lot of fun. I think it's a really cool experience. So a hostel is pretty much a place where a hiker can go and spend the night. You can usually, it's usually close to a town, so you can resupply. You can get a good night's rest indoors, staying dry. Usually they have laundry facilities so you can wash your gear and your clothes if you need to. Get a nice warm shower, and it's really nice to recharge. But just keep in mind, it's kind of like a summer camp situation where you just have a large room with a bunch of bunks, and people can just, the hikers will fill up those spaces. You are usually all sleeping in a big room together on your own individual bunk bed, so you will be exposed to people that do snore if you run into those people, which is common. Some hostels do have private rooms that you can rent, but they are a higher charge, so just keep that in mind. Some hostels are better than others. There's a bunch of cool ones over in Damascus. Mountain Harbor was really nice. That was one of my favorites, Mountain Harbor. That was around mile 345, if I remember, around 19E. So when I do this through hike again, which I'll be starting pretty soon, 2021, I have a few on my list to stay at again. So those are on my list. All right, come on. So that's pretty much how it works. They're scattered throughout the trail, throughout the Appalachian Trail. So there's quite a few options. Some people can choose to stay in a hotel room, and I have done that. Oh, there's a big deer. I'll turn around so you can see. I don't know if you can see, but there's a deer in the road, and my dogs chased him off. So another option you can do is get a few hikers together and rent a hotel room. That worked out to be pretty nice. I did that in right at Fontana Dam. It was myself and I think 5 or 6 other hikers. We all pitched in and got one hotel room. Of course, all of us couldn't get a bed. I ended up sleeping on the floor on my sleeping mat. So it wasn't too bad, but for $10 you can get, you can stay dry and warm and get a shower. So it's not a bad deal. So that's another option. But I really want to talk about the huts and the whites. I was not quite too familiar. The huts in the White Mountains. I was not very clear on how all of that worked until I went through it in 2018 when I thru hiked. So I would like to discuss that a little bit. Now, when you go through the White Mountains, they discourage you from stealth camping or camping at all unless it's in designated areas. And they do that because of the weather situations. The weather can turn pretty quickly and become dangerous out there, so they prefer, for safety reasons, for you to stay at huts or shelters that are designated by the AT throughout the White Mountains. So throughout the mountains you do have huts that you can stay at and do a work for stay. The thing to keep in mind is that they don't allow too many hikers to occupy those spaces. So it's usually only one or two, maybe three at the most. So you want to kind of get there early, ask them if there's any availability for a work for stay, and when they do have availability, and that is an option, it's pretty much just helping the staff clean up. They cater to any people that want to come over and stay and hike the White Mountains, and it's kind of like a bunk hostel situation, but a little bit nicer. They serve the guests food. After they serve the food, you help clean up, you help with any other chores that they've got to do, and then usually after dinner the hikers are given any of the leftovers, which is great because it's usually some pretty good food, and I ate very well while I was doing that, so I looked forward to it. So be sure you get there early. Like if you get there too late, then there's not going to be any work to do or positions available. When I did my thru hike, I was on the earlier side, so I didn't have a problem with getting a spot. But if you are in the bubble, meaning the bubble is where the majority of the hikers are, then you may have a problem doing that. Your other option would be to pay to stay at one of these huts, and that does get kind of pricey, around $80 or so a person a night. But you do get a bunk, you do get fed, and you don't have to do any work to stay there. That is an option too. Along the trail there are various shelters in the Whites that you can stay at. They do charge a fee, anywhere from $5 to $10 to stay at those places. So just keep that in mind when you're going through the Whites. When I went through it, it wasn't too bad, but I wasn't very clear on how it all worked, but it's pretty simple and not too bad. They do discourage you from stealth camping, and there are ridge runners that go out there and check, and they will give you a fine if they catch you trying to camp where you're not supposed to. So just beware and be careful. They really don't want you messing up the vegetation on the trail, so be respectful of that so you don't mess up anything. You don't want to leave any signs that you were there. So that's pretty much how it all works. Be sure that you budget and your expenses to be able to stay at a few hostels along the way, because it's really a fun experience. I loved it. It's really fun to get together with a bunch of hikers and talk about your experiences and stories. It's a great place to recharge, get resupply, get a good night's sleep, and then hike out pretty strong. It was a lot of fun. So some places do allow pets and dogs, some do not. It will all be listed in the AWOL guide or the GutHook app, and they'll explain all of that and what the prices are, how far away each hostel is, and how all that works. So I hope that information is a little bit helpful, and I hope you guys are all getting geared up and excited to get out on the trail this year. I sure am. I can't wait. So see you out there. Have a great day.